30-year-old laid-off project manager from Atlanta. Now, I'm behind on rent, burning through savings, and every job interview feels like I'm begging for a chance to be relevant again. Overqualified, underhired. One of the biggest challenges facing many unemployed boss chicks is the overqualification trap. These women often have multiple degrees, certifications, and years of experience. But in a tight economy, companies are opting for younger, cheaper labor.
Well, in some cases that's true and not true. It depends on how many degrees you have, and it depends on what your degree is in also. It depends on the work experience you have. It depends on the industry. There's a lot of variables that determine whether or not someone is employable. This video is basically talking about how these boss chicks, as they call it, independent women, are now suffering because I guess there's a lot of homelessness happening. So let's continue.
Employers worry that hiring someone with an impressive resume might lead to higher salary demands or quick resignations when better opportunities arise. This disconnect between high qualifications and available roles has left many women stuck. They are either constantly rejected or forced to settle for jobs far beneath their experience level.
This is not something that may just affect women, by the way. This is something that may affect men as well. But I feel like in this particular video, women are being targeted. Now, the problem is a lot of people have, or some people have issues with independent women because for some reason, it makes certain people feel threatened. If you were to look at some of the comments here, the men are actually happy that some of the women are going through that, as if being independent, as if there's something wrong with being independent. Let me tell you this, just because you're married, okay, that doesn't mean that your husband per se, if you're a married woman, that doesn't mean that your husband is financially stable. That doesn't mean that your husband is actually bringing things to the table. Okay, I've been married, all right, and I remember once upon a time, my husband wasn't bringing any money to the table like that. As a matter of fact, being married to him was more like a financial liability, not to say anything negative, but that was the reality. My credit was ruined. Everything was ruined. It was like taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, when you are married, that doesn't mean that you don't know how to take care of yourself. Okay. Just because you're in a relationship with somebody, you still need to know how to be independent and take care of yourself, be you man or woman. There's nothing wrong with a woman that chooses to pull herself up by the bootstraps, if you will, just like there's nothing wrong with a man that chooses to do such. But yet we want to sit here and we want to make fun of women who have a desire to be independent as if it's a capital crime, you see. And there's a problem there, because really what it comes down to is some men who actually wish to exert their control over women, and they want to control them financially, which is a form of abuse, you see. My parents have been happily married forever, and my mother still knows how to take care of herself, and my dad knows how to take care of himself, probably barely, because my mother does a lot. But what I'm saying is, you guys, you want to get to a place in your life where you can take care of yourself, and there's nothing wrong with striving. Let's continue. And by the way, when I say my dad can barely take care of himself, I'm saying he barely knows how to use a stove.
Jobs that don't pay enough to cover their past lifestyle or debt. Entrepreneurship dreams dashed. A key pillar of the boss chick movement was entrepreneurship. Many women stepped away from the traditional 9-to-5 to start businesses in beauty, fashion, coaching, or social media.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you need to realize, just like I posted in another video of mine, you need to realize that sometimes in order to reach your goals, you have to put forth an extra effort. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not easy. believe I just posted a video about that. I guess I'm going to have to repost it. The thing is, sometimes you do have to take that job. Okay. Sometimes you do have to do what you got to do in order to get where you got to go. That's just the facts of life. Continue.
But these ventures have been hit hard by rising costs, decreased consumer spending, and oversaturated markets. Social media influencers are struggling with declining ad revenues. Online boutiques face stiff competition from international wholesalers. Beauty salon owners report fewer appointments as clients cut back on luxury spending. Coaching and consulting businesses, once thriving on self-help buzzwords, are drying up as people tighten their budgets. What was once promoted.
This is exactly why you have to learn how to pivot in the market. And this is part of being a successful business owner, is knowing how to pivot, when to pivot. And sometimes you just have to pivot. That's just the facts of life. Okay. But again, there's more to being successful than just having the idea of wanting to start a business, for example. There's more to being successful than just wanting to be successful. There are certain things that need to be done, and it's not always going to be pretty. Let's continue.
It as the ultimate form of freedom, be your own boss, has become another financial sinkhole for many. Debt, depression, and doubt. The facade of the boss chick lifestyle.
And that's true. That's why the number one ingredient for business success is mindset. And of course, you have to have your finances in order. But there's five key ingredients to business success. But again, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Not the husband that you're with, not the job that you have, not the business that you start. And this is why you need grit. This is why you need resilience, period, in life. And there's nothing wrong with having these things. But the real issue is not this young lady so far in the video, from what I can see, Miss Virtuous Woman, who's just basically reporting the news. The real issue are some of the comments about the men who are basically glad that these women are struggling, because they're like, how dare they even attempt to become a boss? I mean, and that type of mindset is toxic, because you don't say that when a man attempts to stand on his own 2 feet. And again, like I said, just because you're married does not mean that you don't have the ability to take care of yourself. My mother raised me so that I could take care of myself. You see, you want to set yourself up for success, and you want to set yourself up for success early in life. This is important. Okay, last piece here.
Instagram posts, designer handbags, luxury getaways often hid the real cost: debt. Credit cards, business loans, car leases, and expensive apartment rentals stacked up as symbols of success. Now,
well, what's funny about it is that business owners do go into debt all the time. They go into debt by trying to get their business together. And that's like, that's a known thing. I mean, they say they use other people's money. Rich people use other people's money. Now, I'm not suggesting that anybody goes into debt, but it's not surprising that you do if you are trying to be a business owner. But again, this is why that financial piece is so important. But realize anything can happen to anybody at any point in time. Again, there's nothing wrong with striving to be successful, but you need to have the resilience in order to make it happen. All right. Have a good day.